Here are 101 facts about cars I bet you don't know about. Number 1. If you press the remote button of a car 256 times in a row when the car is out of range, the remote will lose its connection with the car and stop working. Number 2. Volvo was the first car company to put a 6-digit odometer in their cars. They knew their cars could last longer than the 5-digit ones. Number 3. Louis Chevrolet, the founder of Chevrolet, died poor and bankrupt while working as a mechanic for the company he founded. A few years after his death, the company became very successful. Number 4. Back in 2004, Oprah, in collaboration with Ford, gave away free cars to everyone in her show. I mean everybody. However, the thing is, these cars weren't exactly free, as we know it. The recipient of these cars had to pay around $6,000 in taxes for the so-called free car, making some people broke. Number 5. Sweden shipped 1,000 Volvos to North Korea in the mid-70s. But the problem was that they never got paid. So Sweden, being Sweden, keeps sending a bill to North Korea every 6 months, hoping for a miracle to happen. Number 6. There is a place in the world where a boat can go under a train, while the train goes under a car, while the car goes under a plane. The place where all these modes of transport can meet is the Boston University Bridge in Boston, Massachusetts. Number 7. Most people think that Los Angeles is full of cars, but that's not entirely true. Actually, in 2016, more than 1 in 10 LA households didn't own a car at all. And even those who did, they only had an average of 1.59 cars per household. That's less than 2 cars for a family of 4. Number 8. You'd be wrong if you think Volkswagen's best-selling product is the Beetle or the Golf. Well, believe it or not, but the best-selling product from this company is actually a sausage. The VW currywurst were originally made as a treat for the factory workers, but it soon became a sensation that they had to sell it to the public as well. Number 9. Currently, there are more than 1 billion cars in the world today, but the US is home to almost 287 million of them. Number 10. BYD isn't really an acronym for Build Your Dreams. It was just a catchy phrase they came up with for the Western audience. BYD is short for Biardi, which is the Chinese name of the company. And Biardi is derived from Yadi Electronics, the original trademark of the company. The only reason they added the Bi character was to get a better spot in trade shows. Number 11. If you ever visit Russia, make sure your car is squeaky clean. There's a law there that can get you fined for driving a car that's dirty, especially if your license plate is covered in dirt or dust. Number 12. In Switzerland, there's a law that says you can't slam your car door. Well, not always, but between the time of 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's when you're not allowed to make any unnecessary loud and disturbing noise. Number 13. Bob Marley was a fan of BMW, but not for the reasons you might think. He owned a BMW because the initials matched his reggae band, Bob Marley and the Wailers. That's such a neat coincidence. Number 14. When it comes to car colors, most people prefer to play it safe and go for white. White cars make up about 1/3 of all cars on the road worldwide. The least popular color, on the other hand, is purple. Number 15. Did you know that BMW had to change the voice of its GPS because of some stubborn male drivers? Apparently, some men didn't like being told what to do by a female-voiced AI, so after a series of complaints to the car company, they decided to use a male voice instead. Number 16. The record for longest car is a limousine created by Jay Orberg, a car designer from California. The automobile is 100 foot long and has 26 wheels. Number 17. The Bugatti Chiron Supersport holds the record for the fastest car in the world, reaching a top speed of 304 miles per hour in 2020. Number 18. The car that holds the record for the highest price ever paid is the Bugatti La Voiture Noire. This car is so exclusive that only one of them exists, and it costs a staggering $18.68 million. Number 19. In 1896, Walter Arnold was the first person to get a speeding ticket when he drove his car at a crazy 8 miles per hour above the speed limit in Paddock Wood, Kent. Just to be clear, the speed limit for cars back then was just 2 miles per hour. Number 20. Airbags are not as old as you might think. As a matter of fact, the first airbags were created in the 1950s, but they were not very reliable or safe. It took almost 30 years of research and testing to perfect it, before making it commercially available to the public. Number 21. The dashboard we all see in today's modern vehicle actually started as a simple piece of wood attached to a horse-drawn carriage. The dashboard was there to stop mud and horse shit from splashing up on the driver. Number 22. Ford Model T, the most popular car of its time, wasn't always black. It was available in various colors, such as green, blue, red, and grey, until 1914. Then, Ford decided to use only black paint because it was way less cheaper and faster to dry. The Model T remained black until 1926, when Ford reintroduced other colors to compete with other car makers. Number 23. Electric cars aren't modern inventions. They actually date back to over a century ago, when Rauch and Lang started making electric cars in 1905. They kept making them until 1920, when gas-powered cars became more affordable and popular because of low gas prices. It seems like history is repeating itself as electric cars are making a comeback in the 21st century. Number 24. Toyota Corolla is one of the best-selling cars in the world, with over 46 million units sold since 1966. Number 25. The first car accident ever recorded happened in 1891, when James William Lambert hit a tree root and lost control of his car, crashing into a hitching post. He and his passenger suffered minor injuries, but the car was badly damaged. Number 26. The car that holds the record for the most miles driven is a 1966 Volvo 1800S, owned by a retired science teacher named Irvin Gordon. He bought the car new for $4,150, and he drove it for over 3.2 million miles. That's equivalent to driving around the Earth 128 times. Number 27. The Model T was the first car that most people could afford, thanks to Henry Ford's clever idea of a moving assembly line. This invention reduced the time to build a Model T from 12 hours to 90 minutes, and the cost of the car from $850 to $260. Number 28. The first car radio was invented in 1929 by Paul and Joseph Galvin. They called it the Motorola, which means sound in motion. The name Motorola later became the brand name for the company, which is still famous for making electronics today. Number 29. It is estimated that there are currently about 1.2 billion cars in the world. However, in 1986, there were only 500 million cars on the road. With this rising number, researchers have predicted that by 2040, there will be a total of more than 2 billion cars on the planet. Number 30. Cars spend almost 95% of their life parked. To put this into perspective, let's say you drive your car for maybe 2 hours every day. That means your car is resting for the other 22 hours. That's almost the whole day. Number 31. About 80% of a car's parts and materials can be recyclable and turned into new products. Who knows? Maybe the last can of soda you drank was once a car door. Or maybe your bicycle was once a car tire. Or maybe your toothbrush was once a car seat. Okay, maybe not that last one. Number 32. Most people in the world drive on the right side of the road. In fact, about 65% of the world's population does so. That means only 35% of the people drive on the left side. Number 33. Tesla made history in 2023 by becoming the most valuable car company in the world, surpassing Toyota. Number 34. Airbags inflate in just 30 milliseconds, which is faster than you can blink your eye. Number 35. In 1980, Japan was the world's #1 car producer, but not anymore. Currently, Japan is the third biggest car maker in the world, after China and the US. Number 36. The first car race ever held was in 1894, from Paris to Rouen, France. The winner was Albert Lemaitre, who drove a Peugeot car at an average speed of 12 miles per hour. He received a prize of 5,000 francs, which was a lot of money back then. Number 37. The car that has the most seats is the Kalani Ulima, which can fit up to 26 people. It was designed by Luigi Kalani, a Swiss-German artist and engineer who wanted to create a futuristic and aerodynamic vehicle. The car is 31 feet long and 8 feet wide, and it looks like a giant caterpillar. Number 38. The average driver in the UK spends almost $70,000 on fuel over their lifetime. Number 39. China produces 1 out of 4 of all the cars on the planet. Number 40. The word car comes from an ancient Latin word carum, which means a wheeled vehicle. Number 41. Volvo was actually the first car company to come up with the brilliant invention of a 3-point seatbelt back in 1959. And instead of keeping it to themselves and profiting millions off of it, they decided to make the patent free for all car makers to use. Number 42. Nevada was the first state in the US to issue the first license to a self-driving car, a modified Toyota Prius. Number 43. Almost 50% of all cars sold in Norway are either electric or hybrid. Number 44. The smallest car in the world is the Peel P50, which is only 54 inches long and 41 inches wide and can only fit one person and a shopping bag. Number 45. We all know Henry Ford became famous because of the Model T. But what we don't know is that it actually took him a lot of trial and error to make it. He had to design and build 8 other car models before he could arrive at the Model T. These models were the A, B, C, F, K, N, R, and S models. Number 46. In 1478, Leonardo da Vinci drew a sketch of a self-propelled vehicle that used springs as its engine. It had no way to steer and it looked like a giant wooden crate, but it was still a car, kind of. In 2004, a team of experts recreated Leonardo's car and showed it off in a museum in Florence, Italy. Number 47. The most fuel-efficient car in the world is the Volkswagen XL1, which can travel 100 kilometers on just 0.9 liters of diesel. That's equivalent to 261 kilometers. Number 48. The first car was made in 1885 by Carl Benz, a German engineer. He called it the Benz Patent Motorwagen, which means motor car with a patent. It had 3 wheels, a single-cylinder engine, and a top speed of 10 miles per hour. Number 49. Volkswagen has a thing for naming their cars after winds. For instance, Golf comes from the Gulf Stream, Scirocco means hot desert wind, and Jetta is derived from the jet stream. Number 50. The most stolen car in the world is the Honda Civic, according to a report by the National Insurance Crime Bureau. In 2022, more than 38,000 Civics were reported stolen in the US alone. Maybe they should install some anti-theft devices, like the ones we'll talk about in the next fact. Number 51. In South Africa, where carjacking is a serious problem, some car owners have resorted to installing flamethrowers on their vehicles. These devices can shoot fire up to 15 feet from the sides of the car, scaring off any potential thieves. They are legal, as long as they are used in self-defense. Number 52. If you think Rolls-Royce cars are rare and exclusive, think again. In Hong Kong, they are more common than you might expect. According to a source, Hong Kong has the highest number of Rolls-Royce cars per person in the world. Number 53. Many say that the Volkswagen Group is just a fancy name for the company that makes the Beetle and the Golf. But you would be wrong. The VW Group is actually a giant in the car industry, with 12 famous brands under its umbrella, including Bugatti, Porsche, Lamborghini, Bentley, Volkswagen, and Audi. Number 54. A Swedish man got one of the most expensive speeding tickets ever in Switzerland. He was caught driving at 180 miles per hour and had to pay a fine of $1,000. That's because the fine is based on how much you earn. He must have been filthy rich to get such a massive fine. Number 55. The British police are known to carry teddy bears in their cars to comfort children after a crash. Number 56. Mr. Alan Swift, who hails from West Hartford, Connecticut, holds the record for the longest ownership of any Rolls-Royce in history. He loved his 1928 Rolls-Royce so much that he kept it for over 82 years. Number 57. The iconic Mercedes-Benz logo is a 3-pointed star that represents the company's ambition to dominate the land, air, and water. Number 58. Ferrari and Porsche both share the same logo symbol of a horse, but they are different cars. The Ferrari horse comes from the emblem of a World War I fighter pilot, Francesco Baracca, who painted it on his plane. The Porsche horse comes from the coat of arms of Stuttgart, the city where the company is based. Number 59. The first car insurance policy was issued in 1897 by the Travelers Insurance Company. It covered a driver named Gilbert J. Loomis, who paid $1,000 for a liability coverage of up to $5,000. Number 60. Volvo means I roll in Latin. Number 61. The first windshield wipers were not automatic. You had to operate them by hand. That must have been a problem, especially in bad weather. Imagine trying to steer, shift, and wipe at the same time. Number 62. Cars did not have gas gauges until 1922. That's 37 years after the first car was made. I wonder how drivers knew how much gas they had left. Number 63. Driving at 60 miles per hour, it would take 9 months to drive to the moon and 150 years to drive to the sun. Number 64. The smell of a new car is actually a mix of 50 chemicals that can harm your health. Long-term exposure to them can cause headaches, nausea, and even cancer. Number 65. In the US alone, a car is stolen every 45 seconds, which is more time than it takes to like and subscribe to this channel, so why not do that right now? Number 66. The average car comprises 30,000 parts. No wonder car mechanics have to be so skilled and knowledgeable. Number 67. The first anti-lock brakes, or ABS for short, were made in the 1920s, but became so popular in the 1990s. Today, you can find them in most cars. Number 68. Before brake lights were invented in 1905, drivers used hand signals to show where they were going. But this was not very effective at night, as you can imagine. Now, brake lights are mandatory for cars, as they are a vital safety feature. Number 69. Bertha Benz, the wife of Carl Benz, who made the first practical car, and her 2 sons went on a road trip from Mannheim to Pforzheim, Germany. The 66-mile trip was the first long-distance road trip ever, and took them about 8 hours to complete the trip. Number 70. Before the steering wheel was invented in Cleveland, Ohio by Alexander Winton in 1896, drivers used a lever to steer the car. That sounds like a lot of hassle. Number 71. The first car to have air conditioning was the 1939 Packard. It was a luxury feature that cost around $274, which was a lot of money back then. Number 72. The Ford Pinto had a reputation for being a fire hazard. This was because of a terrible design flaw that placed the fuel tank behind the rear axle, making it prone to puncture when hit from behind. Ford was aware of this problem, but chose to ignore it until public outrage forced them to recall the Pinto in 1978. Number 73. Toyota is the biggest car maker in the world. Toyota makes about 13,000 cars every day. That's why you see so many Toyotas on the road today. Number 74. The largest car collection in the world belongs to the 29th Sultan of Brunei. He has over 7,000 cars of all kinds. He has some very rare and unique cars, as well as some more common ones. That's enough to make any car fanatic jealous. Number 75. The fastest engine replacement ever took only 42 seconds, and it was done by 5 Royal British Marines who practiced for 2 weeks until they could do it that fast. They broke the world record and still hold it till date. Number 76. 95% of Americans prefer automatic cars because they are easier to drive. The other 5% of drivers like manual cars. Which one do you like? Number 77. Did you know that a medieval monk predicted the invention of cars? His name was Roger Bacon, and he lived from around 1214 to 1292. He wrote in one of his journals, "Cars can be made so that without animals, they will move with incredible speed." He also had visions of planes, steamboats, submarines, and even diving suits. Number 78. Mercedes and Benz were once rivals in the car industry. DMG, the owner of the Mercedes brand, and Benz & C. Always tried to outdo each other with better vehicles. But after the First World War, things got pretty tough for both of them. So they agreed to merge in May 1924, and that's how Mercedes-Benz was born. Number 79. In 1916, the Ford Model T was the most popular car in the world. In fact, more than half of all the cars in the world were Ford Model T. No other car has ever achieved such dominance till date. Number 80. The first Japanese car sold in the United Kingdom was a Daihatsu Compagno. It was a small sedan that was introduced in 1963. Number 81. In 1941, Henry Ford, founder of the Ford Motor Company, did something very unusual. He decided to make a car out of soybeans. Like the stuff you make tofu and soy milk from. The car was pretty heavy, weighing about 2,000 pounds, and had a steel frame with 14 plastic panels on it. Number 82. The world's longest traffic jam happened in China in 2010. It stretched for more than 100 kilometers and lasted for 12 days. Number 83. The Bugatti Chiron is so fast that its tires will burst after 15 minutes of full speed. But don't worry, the fuel tank will run out after 12 minutes. Number 84. Approximately 8,000 units of Ferrari are made and sold each year in Italy. That's about 21 cars per day on average. This explains why Ferraris are so rare and expensive. Number 85. About 75% of all Rolls-Royces ever made are still on the road today. Number 86. The Bugatti Veyron used by the Dubai police force is the fastest police car in the world. It has a top speed of 253 miles per hour, and it holds a Guinness World Record for that. Number 87. A Tesla owner once did something crazy. He attached a Tesla Roadster to a rocket and sent it to space. The owner is none other than Elon Musk, the boss of Tesla and SpaceX. He did this to show off the power of his Falcon Heavy rocket. Number 88. Daniel Craig, also known as James Bond, has a special deal with Aston Martin. He can get any car from their factory for free for the rest of his life. That's because he made Aston Martin famous by driving them in his movies. Number 89. The 4 overlapping rings on the Audi logo that kind of resemble the logo from the Olympics actually represent the 4 independent companies, Audi, Porsche, DKW and Wanderer, that eventually joined forces to create the Audi Group. Number 90. Before Ford and Dodge became rivals today, they used to work together. Ford used to buy parts from Dodge to make their cars. Number 91. A lot of people actually think that the BMW logo is a propeller spinning in the air, but that's just a myth. The BMW logo is actually the colors of Bavaria, the region in Germany where BMW comes from. It's kind of like a flag, but round. Number 92. The Lamborghini Murcielago was used in Christopher Nolan's Batman movie. That's funny, because murciélago means bat in Spanish, so the Murciélago is a real Batmobile. Number 93. Some people don't care much about their car's hygiene. A survey reveals that 75% of women and 33% of men have never cleaned their own cars. Number 94. Denmark is one of the worst places to buy a new car. That's because the Danish government charges up to 150% tax on every new car purchase. Number 95. Whale oil was used in some car transmissions until 1973, when the whales were marked as endangered species. This caused a lot of transmission failure issues in just 3 years, until a synthetic replacement was found. Number 96. Jaguar was called SS before the war, but had to change it because they didn't want to be linked with the notorious SS Nazi troop. Number 97. The AMG initials on the Mercedes-Benz stand for Aufrecht, Melcher and Grossasbach. Aufrecht and Melcher are the founders of the performance division of Mercedes-Benz, and Grossasbach is the place where they started AMG. Number 98. In 2008, the Italian police got a sweet deal from Lamborghini. They received a V10 Gallardo, the world's fastest police car, as a gift. But it wasn't a gesture of generosity. It was a way to cope with the oil crisis and save some gas. Sadly, the car didn't last long. A year later, it was destroyed in a crash. Number 99. Volkswagen Beetle was first called the Type 1, but it got nicknamed the Beetle because of its shape. The name, however, became official in 1967. Number 100. The Porsche 959 was banned from driving in the US because it didn't pass the crash test. Bill Gates bought one anyway, but he had to wait 13 years for the law to change. Number 101. September 3rd, 1976 was the day Sweden switched from driving on the left to the right. To help with the change, Sweden made new signs and even a catchy song called Håll dig Hogger, or Keep to the Right in English. And that's it, guys. If you enjoyed this video, Be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and let us know in the comments what other facts you want us to cover.